Hey guys, midweek energy update, and we've got some big news as we hit the midpoint of our week this week. We have Jupiter stationing retrograde in the sky. This is going to be a period of time that carries us from now until February 4th, or not, I don't know if it's February 4th or not actually. It's the first week of February. I don't know why I said February 4th. It may be February 4th. I'll have to double check on that, but it's like the first week of February when Jupiter will station direct again. So between now and then, we're going to be doing some introspection, you guys. We are going to be gaining some inner awareness. Things are going to be opening up for us somehow on a more internalized level, and it's going to lead to an increased aptitude on our part to be able to actually make some choices and decisions to move ourselves forward somehow. This is likely to be, it could be kind of like a lucky, fortunate week. Things are probably looking up. The energetic high point of the week is definitely going to fall on Wednesday when we have the Jupiter station. Whenever a planet stations in its motion, it amplifies the energy of that planet. Jupiter is the planet of good luck and good fortune, and also just optimism and positivity, faith, trust, belief. That's another thing. We're going to be gaining a much greater level of self-trust, okay, and belief in ourselves, and faith in ourselves to be more, to do more, to become more, and to move forward in this new direction as well as we move through this period of time. Very, very interesting. It's probably going to be honestly a bit of a wild ride over the course of this Jupiter retrograde period, but we're going to find out a lot. A lot of it's going to have to do with other people. It's probably going to really play a role in the relationship changes that are happening now and over the course of this next few months. The Jupiter station is in a trine to Mercury in the sign of Libra, Mercury ruling the position of Jupiter right now. So we're going to learn a lot, you guys. We're going to learn a lot about other people, and we're going to learn a lot about ourselves, and we're going to learn a lot about what and how we want to do things, what we're going to choose moving forward. So lots to talk about. We've got Jupiter influence going on in the sign of Gemini. Gemini, the sign of communication, Jupiter, the sign of expansion. So let's just get into it, you guys. Put all of this together, take a look at where we're at this week as we reach the midpoint and what things might be looking like for us as we head towards our weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this video, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We will do that at the end. We're going to start at the beginning with the astrology, and we are at a high point actually this week, which bet a lot of us could probably use after the way that things have been unfolding energetically throughout the past, month, 6 weeks or so. It's been a pretty rough road in terms of just the way that energy has been folding throughout our eclipse season, but we know that we are in major times of change and transformation, and now we are about to go through a process of internalized growth over the next couple months between now and February that is going to help us become actually more of who we are transforming into right now, and also heal from and release and let go of a lot of the old attachments and stuff like that that are still holding us to maybe who we used to be, or our old self-perceptions, or our old states of victimhood and stuff that may have been holding us back and keeping us detached from where universe is kind of mandating that we move towards, or pulling us towards now. So ultimately, Jupiter, okay, we're talking about Jupiter today. Jupiter is the planet of growth, okay? Growth, truth also has to do with faith and belief. So we have a planet, going retrograde. This is like an introversion of that energy. This is going to internalize that Jupiterian energy. So there's going to likely be, and whenever we've got a Jupiter retrograde going on, it's because we are going through a phase of internal growth in some capacity. Now we know, because of the placement of Jupiter right now in the sign of Gemini for his retrograde, this is going to be most likely some type of internal growth regarding how we're thinking about things, the way that our mind is working, our perceptions, the choices and decisions that we want to make. And there are also, I should say, some very strong themes of partnerships that are coming through here. Of course, Gemini is the sign of the twins, that inherently brings up partnerships and also polarities. There are attraction and like repulsive forces going on simultaneously here in some quite expansive ways. As I said, Gemini being the sign of the twins. But this Jupiter station is also happening in a very tight trine with Mercury, the messenger planet, ruling thoughts, ideas, communication, and the ruler of the sign of Gemini, where Jupiter is placed. And Gemini, Mercury also has to do, it has to do with like interpersonal communication and stuff like that. And Mercury is in the sign of Libra, the sign of partners, relationships, friends, other people generally. All right. So whatever internal growth is happening in terms of the way that we're thinking about things over the course of this next few months between now and the first week of February, I'm not sure the exact day, but it's the first week of February when Jupiter stations. What we're realizing, what we're figuring out, the way that our mind is expanding or growing or changing, the information that we have access to, like how we're considering things, what we're coming to understand, it's definitely going to be another thing that is impacting the relationship dynamics of our lives. We know that we are in a season of change right now, especially in terms of other people, relationships, and values, and what we're attracted to, what we desire, preferences with the South Node karmic release in the sign of Libra. If you guys have been watching my channel, following the astrology generally, we are, from the Western tropical zodiac perspective, having a South Node Libra transit right now, meaning that just collectively there are old relationships, old attachments, old value systems, old self-perceptions that are a byproduct of those relationships and value systems and stuff like that, that we are at a point of, needing to release, because the oppositional energy to the South Node in Libra is the North Node in Aries. The South Node is about karmic release. The North Node is the destiny point. This is about like soul evolution and growth, okay? So in order to, follow the mandate or the path that we are being aligned with in a fated, destined manner as a result of the like cosmic evolution and the placement of the North Node right now, that destiny point, we have to be able to release and let go of, what we have become attached to, or what we have become very good at, or what, we've really associated or identified ourselves with, in order to go through that process of personal growth. North Node in the sign of Aries, this is all about, honestly, and Chiron is there as well, self-actualization, self-mastery, our own personal leadership era, and personal growth. Okay, so there's a phase of personal growth that we've been going through, and this has been happening since not this summer that we're coming out of right now, but actually the summer before that. That was when the nodes entered Aries and Libra from the tropical perspective. So since then, I've been talking about this being like our own personal leadership era, where we were going to be detaching ourselves from sort of like the group think and the common consensus, and like really feeling compelled to like do what is, right for us on like just that deeper, more personal level, like a need to kind of become like more in charge and like the leader in our own experience, and be just less dependent on whatever's going on and like the overall nature of the group dynamic and stuff like that, when we're talking about South Node in Libra, North Node in Aries. So that inherently is going to redefine the way that we are relating to others and relating to ourselves, and what we value and what we're attracted to. And we are seeing that play out as, we move through time to this point where we're at now, and moving forward over the next couple of months. It's interesting also because I looked ahead to see when it was that Jupiter would be stationing. And like I said, Jupiter is stationing that first week of February. That first week of February, that is also the week when the nodes actually change signs and move into Pisces. So there is something between now, like the process actually, like this is sort of the last phase that is required before, you know, we're really going to start feeling comfortable embodying the new version of ourselves that has been like trying to emerge from within us over this past essentially like year and a half that we are year something ish at this point, while we are moving towards the completion of this nodal transit of the North Node Aries, South Node Libra, which again, like I said, is also going to culminate sometime around the beginning of February or the end of January. I didn't specifically look at it. I just looked at like approximate timing. Okay, so approximately around then. So something about whatever growth or whatever self-mastery or whatever self-trust or whatever just like expanded vision internally or something like that that we are gaining over the course of this next period of time. It is also directly associated with the completion of sort of like the recreation, personal recreation that we've also been going through in association with these transits. So that's actually really interesting. Like, it's like, you know, we have been going through all of this stuff and like navigating all of these issues, and especially, as I said, this past eclipse season was like very, you know, presented a lot of challenges. In the month of August also, you know, there's just a lot that we had a lot of hard Saturn aspects, and you know, there's been some Mars issues going on, and then we've had all this eclipse energy and all this black moon energy. And now we're at the point where we're like about to integrate the wisdom that we've gained through experience. And that is what is gonna, like, I feel like, be what is completing the process and setting us forth, like, finally on this new path that we're going to begin to embody and walk come the beginning of next year, you know, that February-ish time period, 2025. So, it's actually really crazy when you think about it in that context, how this energy is functioning now. And another way that we can tell that that like North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, I mean, and it's been so, this eclipse season with because the eclipse seasons are brought to us by the nodes of the moon. So when we have eclipse seasons going on, it's because the new moons and the full moons are falling within a certain proximity to those nodes and activating those like fated and karmic energies. And so we've had a lot going on lately and like manifesting in the 3D experience associated with the trajectory, the entire transit of the North Node Aries, South Node Libra, and what those energies are bringing to us. You know, it's an 18-month transit whenever we're talking about the nodes transiting a particular polarity. They'll always be in oppositional signs to each other. So wherever the North Node is, the opposite sign is where the South Node is, and that polarity is very active in terms of that karmic release energy and that like growth energy that's going on. And as this Jupiter alignment comes into play, which is lining up with the final like bit of the transit of the nodes through Aries and Libra, the moon is going to be in Capricorn, which is like in an exact square to the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, cardinal square. And that's also quite a synchronistic and interesting placement, and it tells us a lot about the nature of the growth that this, or just the experiences generally, or what this energetic activation with Jupiter stationing right now is bringing to us, because it is, I mean, we've been talking a lot about the sign of Capricorn right now. Another thing that we've got going on this week, another big thing we have going on this week, is Pluto stationing direct at 29 degrees of Capricorn. Like, that's a big deal right there. And that is energy. And I've been going on about this. I made several videos about it. Like, this is end of an era type of stuff that we've got going on. And, the sign of Capricorn right now is ruled, well, is always ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is retrograde in the sign of Pisces right now. This is really sort of like the energetically, you know, we've been talking about the transformative and transitional nature of the way that energy is sort of hitting our planet right now. This is another aspect of that that is also facilitating our release from the old control structures, essentially, that have governed our 3D experience of reality over the course of the past 2,000 years. So there is a big shift and transition underway as well, in terms of literally like our perception to and relationship with the 3D structures and fabric of our perceived reality. And that is going to be in probably some incomprehensible in the moment ways, drastically changed as well as we move through this next period of time. We're going to begin, I do think, you know, over the course of the next 20 years, as Pluto moves through the Pluto Aquarian transit, and then into the greater next 2,000 years, as we move forth into the age of Aquarius, we're probably going to like perceive reality in a much different way than we have throughout this past 2,000 years, throughout our recorded history, and up until this moment in time, this point right here. So an internalized knowing, or like greater inner faith or belief in sort of like the big picture, and just kind of like a broadened perspective about things that helps us transition at this point in time into, you know, wherever it is that we're going next. I do think that that is something that could also probably be a part of our experience as we move through this period of time over these next couple of months. I think this is significant, and we all should be feeling lucky, you guys. Jupiter is the planet of good luck and good fortune. Whenever a planet stations in its motion, it amplifies the energy of that planet. So we have a very big beneficial Jupiterian influence going on this week, even if Jupiter is going retrograde. Again, this is going to be a very beneficial retrograde period that is going to set us on a new path in some pretty profound ways, and maybe some very unexpected ways as well moving forward. And I want to say, ironically, crazily, the Jupiter, the degree where Jupiter happens to be stationing, happens to be exactly my ascendant degree. And let me tell you, your girl could use some luck, okay? So I'm going to be the embodiment of the energy today, and all of you are going to have a very blessed, fortunate, lucky, magical week. And this Jupiter retrograde period, you guys, it is going to be life-changing in the most beautiful, amazing, blessed ways. So you can take that to the bank. I am definitely not budging from that perspective. I refuse to acknowledge anything else than that reality. So it's luck all around today, you guys. We are all the lucky ones, and I am wearing that for all to see. Okay. So 21 degrees of Gemini, that is where the Jupiter station is happening. It's happening in a trine to Mercury, who's at 23 degrees of Libra. Also an exact sextile to Chiron at 21 degrees of Aries. This is also a big deal. Like, we're getting over it, okay? We're coming to a point where the things that used to really bother us, the things that held us back, the things that made us feel bad about ourselves and like we couldn't do it and stuff like that, we just, it's like we're gonna come to a point where we like literally don't care. Like, we're not interested anymore. Like, we're not perceiving it the same way. We're not thinking about it the same way. It's not having the same type of effect. Like, it's just not relevant for some reason. With the Chiron sextile, and also the Mercury thing. Also, like, this is likely to, like, things that have not been fair, okay, things like injustices, lack of fairness, things that have not been balanced, or just like not working out right, especially again in like interpersonal and relationship dynamics and stuff like that. We are likely going to figure out what the problem is and either how to fix them, or come to the point again where we're just unbothered. Like, we just don't care. Like, we're over it. And it's just like, you know, it may have been something that was like just crushing for many years and defined our entire lives and our self-perception, and therefore what we experienced and what we wanted. But some realization, some learning, something that happened, some just like internalized shift, and we're just like, or it could also be another person very positive and productive, like, partnerships and collaborations and like relationship dynamics represented here as well. Like I said, both the attraction and the like repulsion sides of magnetism, I feel like, are very prominent and evident in the energetic field in the context of relationship dynamics and other people. We are going to find out the truth about other people, probably like a lot of it, maybe more than you wanted to know, maybe more than you asked for. But we are moving through this very strong Pluto black moon energy as well, which we've been talking about. So the truth needs to come out, and that's going to be another thing that, again, like helps us to let go of one thing or one person or attachment or phase or era or whatever, and be able to like be released and open to what it is that's coming next. As I said, blessed connections and opportunities could very much be coming with this, to the same extent that like we're finding something out about someone or something, and just like totally unattracted or just like stop. That's the type of thing, it's like the nature of what it is that we're finding out is turning the tables in such a way that is releasing us from maybe things that we've been caught up in for a long time. So be very prepared to change your perspective on something over the next 4 months. I think that we can say that quite specifically. Wherever Gemini is in your chart as well, that may be of value to figure out where this Jupiter station is, because that is what you might be changing your mind about, or what you might be reconsidering or finding new information out. So check your chart and find out where you have Gemini. But there is just this expansion of the inner world that is going on, and we are deeply considering things. Now, while this transit is playing itself out, or while this, the station is happening, Mercury ruling Jupiter is in Libra and is in the trine to Jupiter. So this could really be some good news that is coming through as well. There could be some very good news that we're finding out about something maybe from the past as well. But it is also probably going to be kind of like a more pensive or serious time, because not long after Jupiter stations, Mercury actually will enter the sign of Scorpio. And this is going to, again, like really sort of put things under a microscope. We could be really like digging for truth in some pretty dark places, okay, over the course of this next couple of months. But we also know that because our eclipse cycle that we're in right now was also describing that very same thing. So reconsidering a lot based on what is being unearthed or what we're discovering. It's interesting because the way that all this is coming together right now, we are getting both this week also, because it's not just that Jupiter stations this week, Pluto will also station this week. Pluto stations on the 12th. So we've got two big planets stationing in the sky. One about like seeing the broader perspective and like things from like the whole elevation, like the big picture, like the truth. And then the other one is about like what's been hidden, what's been going on under the surface, like what's been hiding from us, like what, hasn't been all that honest. And so we're getting both the truth from like the elevated perspective, and we're also figuring out what it is that maybe we have not been aware of. So there's nowhere for sort of like deception or falsehood, or there's nowhere to really hide anything this week, because whether, we're seeing from above, but we're also seeing from below, and that light from above is like shining down below. So everything is being like exposed. We're definitely going to be like taking a second look at things with Jupiter transiting retrograde through the sign of Gemini, and anything, dishonest or lacking in integrity, it's going to be exposed. It's not supported underground, and it's not supported above ground either. Falsehoods that have prevented justice and balance primarily will be uncovered with Jupiter trining Mercury in Libra. But Venus, you guys, who's ruling the position of Mercury right now, who's ruling the position of Jupiter right now in his station, is in the sign of Scorpio. And not only is Venus in the sign of Scorpio, Venus is at 21 degrees of Scorpio, which is the Sabian symbol, obeying his conscience. A soldier resists orders. And I do feel like that's another major theme with this Jupiter retrograde energy that we have over this next couple of months. Lying is a very dangerous game here, you guys. We need to listen to our conscience, which is probably actually going to be louder with Jupiter retrograding in the sign of Gemini, and we need to obey, okay, for best results. That should be our game plan. We really, really want to, you know, the inner compass on this one is probably one of the best navigation tools out there. This is not an energy where you can necessarily trust like the mentorship or the guidance of the other people outside of you in your life. This is a period of time where, again, like the good choices and the good decisions and like the blessed fortunate events and stuff, like those are going to be based on like us choosing to do things from you know, that place of internal guidance or that place of like higher knowing, or just being more self-directed, because this is the energy that is doing the North Node in Aries thing, that is wrapping up that transit, that is helping us step into the person that this past year and a half has been making us into. So if we are continuing to like try to seek like wisdom and, you know, truth, and like putting all of our faith and energy outside of us right now, and especially in other people, I don't think that we're going to receive the same benefits as if we are just tuning into a greater alignment with like our own internal guidance system and having faith and trust and belief in the conclusions that we're coming to based on, number one, the experiences that we've gained from the past, and number two, the information that we are receiving and what we are learning, maybe, you know, primarily about other people, but just about things generally and also about ourselves. So we want to listen to our conscience with this, you guys. We want to obey what feels in alignment with our higher self. We want to be very open to self-correcting as well. We want to accept and acknowledge, you know, be able to take accountability and just be okay with understanding if we've been seeing something wrong, or if we've been operating under like some lack of perception or lack of clarity somehow, or if we've been communicating something improperly. There could be just corrections that need to be made. That's also what this period of time is about with Jupiter transiting through Gemini. This is about mistakes and corrections taking place as well. And opportunities will come through our willingness to change, adapt, and grow inwardly here, right? So between now and February, we will learn to trust ourselves more. We will learn to listen to our inner wisdom and our inner guidance more, and we will become more aligned with our higher selves in a way that actually helps us to reflect that externally moving forward as we come more to embody the new version of ourselves that this particular North Node Aries transit has been moving us towards. Okay, so with Jupiter retrograding, we find the guiding light within. It's not outside of us. In fact, actually, with Jupiter retrograding, a lot of the external outside world could seem or appear quite questionable. As I said, like it may become really iffy, like what we can and can't trust when we're talking about those external sources of information right now. It could also, with the retrograde Jupiter energy, be, you know, kind of like dismal or dark, or feel a little bit like hopeless or out of touch or unrelatable when we're talking about like the greater world at large, or, you know, what's going on even in terms of like the media and stuff like that with this introverted Jupiterian Gemini energy. But we find inner wisdom and inner faith that guides and strengthens our connection to our higher power during this period of time. And that is another thing that is really going to change us. Okay, we're learning to believe in ourselves, to trust our own judgment, and we, again, like are likely to make mistakes in this process, but we are learning to listen. And Jupiter is sextile Chiron. Like there's going to be some level of self-mastery or overcoming old wounds, healing somehow, okay, that is facilitated through this period of time and through this process. The Jupiter retrograde is also going to give us faith in our ability to overcome what's held us back in the past, who we used to be, and like push us forward, really help us expand into who we are meant to become as the North Node wraps up his transit of the sign of Aries. This is about personal alchemy. Well, we've got Jupiter and Chiron in exact aspect, facilitating, supporting aspect, while Jupiter stations. Redefining ourselves is for the better, okay, is where this energy is trying to take us. And then again, we also just synchronistically happen to have the moon in Capricorn squaring the nodes. That is also an emotional release from like the beliefs and thoughts and ideas that we held in the past that kept us in some type of box, or that kept us boxed out of or blocked off from we're talking about the nodes again, going through this process of fated karmic release and personal transformation that this whole entire period of time is about right now. Because remember, we are going through these personal upgrades on like an individual level right now, but it's actually related to our greater transition into the age of Aquarius, which we talk about so frequently on this channel, and is the entire purpose of the channel, actually, to narrate the shift of the ages as we are moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. I always talk about how this is a transitional process, essentially guiding us towards, as individuals, process of self-actualization, and therefore we are going through these experiences that are pushing us in that direction, which are being reflected by the astrology as it's happening on a day-to-day basis right now, and the impacts that it's having in our individual lives that are ultimately moving us in that direction as well. So it all fits together. It's all very purposeful. It's probably quite difficult, honestly. This has been a very difficult year. It's a very difficult period of time. We are not out of it yet. We are facing several more difficult years in this birthing of a new age process that we are going through right now. But I do feel like we're tipping the scales this Libra season. It's there's my little like Libra pun, but this is when Pluto is stationing direct in the sign of Capricorn at 29 degrees Capricorn, preparing to enter Aquarius for the next 20 years. So to me, that is taking the like literal energetic emphasis out of the Capricorn basket and putting it in the Aquarian basket. And for so long now, I mean, we're coming out of the age of Pisces, which is a very hierarchical energy, and we've been in the Capricorn generation since 2008, which condenses power at like among the very elite and the very top of government and society and stuff like that. And we are moving into an age of decentralized power that places power really back in the hands of the individual through a process of self-actualization that comes about as a result of the challenges that we face, the experiences that we go through, the wisdom that we gain, and the personal alchemy that comes as a result of that. This is like a very condensed energetic evolution that we're going through right now. Of course, not everybody is going to be responding to it, I guess we could say, in the same way and from the same point, but we're going to see more and more people that are going through this awakening process, that are sort of like snapping out of it or waking up from something, and that are like getting on course somehow, whether it's through their own actions or through life literally just like dumping everything on its head and picking them up and flicking them across, scattering them across, and then they land and they realize, oh, like this is always what I was meant to be doing. A lot of people are going to just begin like getting back into alignment with their personal authenticity, moving into the age of Aquarius. So that's on on that greater, more, we're talking about Jupiter. So on the big picture level, it's a part of this greater transition of ages that we're going through right now, and how humanity actually, one by one anchors these new frequencies into our reality. And the lesson that will lead to the blessings that this Jupiter energy is bringing us right now has a lot to do with tipping the scales in terms of us sliding more into our new selves and our new reality and less into our old selves and our old reality. And it's so interesting as well because we've spoken so much about the North Node and the relevance of the North Node and Aries energy in this video today. And the North Node is currently at 7 degrees of Aries, where it has been through this entire eclipse season. And that Sabian symbol is a man successfully expressing himself in 2 realms at once. So we really have been sort of like straddling both worlds, kind of like the past and the future throughout this entire eclipse season. But now that we're moving through Libra season and we've got Pluto stationing and we've got Jupiter doing its thing, the scales are going to start tipping, I think, in the favor of the new beginnings and the future, and more so who we're becoming, not so much who we've been, which is why I also think that we're going to become significantly like more unbothered by the things that really used to bother us from the past. Okay. So between now and February, we are going to gain wisdom and perspective to emotionally let go and move on from something that is going to help us like really break through into this new area of our lives. This is going to result from discovering truths that drastically alter our personal choices, decisions, values, and desires. And now let's talk about like less of how this may affect us on a personal level and what it may do kind of more on more of a macrocosm collectivized world stage with Jupiter in Gemini trining Mercury in Libra, with the Capricorn moon squaring the nodes and Venus in the sign of Scorpio. Jupiter retrograding in Gemini, okay, this is the media, right? This is mass media. We've been talking a lot lately about the black moon energy transiting through the sign of Libra that has been right there with all the conjunctions, Venus conjuncted, then we had the new moon itself in an exact conjunction to the black moon. We had Mercury conjunct the black moon. And we've been talking about how in the sign of Libra, I feel like this is what has been leading to a lot of the exposure that we've seen happen in the music industry, a lot of like the darker nature and abuses of power that have gone on. I think we're going to see a lot more of this play out along the things associated with the Libra themes, right? More exposures here having to do with truth and awareness. Jupiter now in the trine to Libra as well regarding other people, as I've been talking about, relationships, deals, agreements, and investments, these Libra themes, justice and peace, but also music, art, beauty, glamour, design, the industries associated with them, and also possibly like women generally and what's been like out of balance maybe in regards to like things having to do with feminine energy as well. But this Jupiter transit is indicating more of that. So we know that that's an element of that. We know that that's going on. But we also need to talk about the sign of Gemini with Jupiter's presence there. And we also need to talk about Capricorn as well, which is the other energy that we've been talking about because the moon happens to be transiting Capricorn while we have this station going on squaring the nodes. So big government, big business, big finance, authority, leadership, rules, regulation, control systems generally, another thing that are likely to be under the microscope, having the spotlight shown on them, the truth coming out, okay, in those like along those in those industries, in those areas of life, like those particular, archetypal themes generally. So the Libra energy, the Capricorn energy, and also the Gemini energy. I think that we may find ourselves like learning about the media and the truthfulness or lack of truthfulness having to do with information itself here. I would not be surprised if we do see the microscope also turned inwards on the mass media and the news and the information industry and communication industries themselves over this next couple of months. And with the trine to Mercury in the sign of Libra, specifically their role in bringing, right, fair and balanced reporting, truthful, unbiased information, like there could really be some, again, like a spotlight or a microscope on the nature of the information that the information industries are delivering. Lots of questions about honesty and transparency in information-based, communication-based industries of all kinds. So I think that's coming as well. So between, you know, the industries of the arts, okay, and also things to do with big business and big finance and money and government leadership, and then also the nature of the accuracy and truthfulness of information itself and the messengers and purveyors of that information doing so in a fair and balanced way. We could really see some big things pop off, you guys, over the course of this next couple of months. That again has sort of like the collective impact of releasing us from one structured perception or experience of reality and the way that we're doing things, and like really begins to transition us into a different way or a different idea of maybe like how we need to change things or what needs to come next. So these are all of the things I think that we will be looking at more closely as we move through this period of time. There could also be just like, there could be like a sudden pop in things this week, like with the Jupiter prominence energy, markets, general optimism, hopefulness, kind of like across the board. Also, as I was mentioning in my report for yesterday, themes of comebacks and like defying the odds, like the underdog coming up and winning the day. This type of stuff could also be what this energy is bringing on a more just like generalized level. Very, very, very verbal and communicative energy with Jupiter stationed in Gemini, trining Mercury, ruling the position of Jupiter, communication in the sign of Libra, also a very social sign. And this is an air trine sign as well. So I mean, we're talking about thoughts, ideas, communication, the free flow of them, very big positive ideas. There could be just kind of like a lot of opportunities that are coming right now. Be careful maybe saying too much. That is really sort of the only red flag that we've got going on right now. And another thing that I have not mentioned yet in this report, but I spoke about in my last report, we also have a trine playing out between Mars and Venus right now. And this is in water signs, which is another very beneficial energy. And it's talking about the positive nature of relationship dynamics and collaborations and partnerships and working well with others in a way that is fruitful or creative or productive. And it's so cute also because 21 degrees of Gemini, where Jupiter is stationing, the Sabian symbol of that degree, actually, we would round to 22 degrees of Gemini, because when we are talking about Sabian symbols, we round up a degree. We read the wave of energy that's coming in, not the wave of energy that is waning out and dissipating. So 22 degrees of Gemini is the Sabian symbol associated with the placement of the Jupiter station. That Sabian symbol is dancing couples crowd the barn in a harvest festival. So we have symbolism that is talking about fortunate, aligned, like opportunistic, maybe like advantageous, or just like fun partnerships, relationships, collaborations that could be going on. And we've got a Venus-Mars trine as well. I'm telling you something about the productive, positive, beneficial, creative, fruitful, or fertile nature of relationships that are coming into fruition right now, are going to be doing some type of good things for us, highly fruitful, highly productive, or just very positive somehow. And it's also really funny because this like dancing couples crowd the barn in a harvest festival. We're talking about like the harvest festival. This is a celebration of change that is going on. This is people coming together, joining, uniting, collaborating in celebration of some type of change or transition or transformation that we are moving towards and that is underway. So, and then don't forget, in my last video, I was also talking about collaboration potential and the positive nature of it this week, because we also have, as I said, Pluto stationing in just a couple of days as well. So Jupiter is stationing and Pluto is stationing. And I was talking about in my last video how like in the mythology, Zeus and Hades, Pluto and Jupiter like work together to defeat Kronos, who's Saturn, and the Titans, which were like, you know, the power structure of the world that Kronos, or the era that Kronos represented. So this is like Battle of Titan type of energy. And we again have the collaboration of, you know, the king of the gods, the sky god, and the lord of the underworld, like above and below, coming together to release us from the hold of the past and of time and of karma as we go through this sort of like energetic breakthrough into this new age and era that is incoming now. And that's going to define the next 2,000 years, bridging us actually into a greater 10,000 year period that will bring us back into another golden age of humanity. So when we pull it way back out and look at it from the really big picture, that's the direction that things are heading. That's where we're going, and therefore things may start to shift just a little bit in our favor. You guys, we're feeling lucky this week. You're going to get some good news. Expect good things to happen. Expect to be at the right place at the right time. Expect alignments and relationships that are coming into your life right now that make you feel lucky, and believe in yourself. Okay, now one more thing that I do need to say, remember, as you know, I have mentioned, we have Pluto stationing later this week as well. That is going to bring in the emphasis on the plutonic energy, because Jupiter's stationing first. Okay, things that come about or present themselves or are announced or, you know, are just broadcast maybe in some way in the early part of the week. As we move through the week, there could be some like powerful response or implication associated with whatever this Jupiter energy has brought that we won't really like know or feel or see the impact of until the Pluto station that we have on the 12th. There could be some very powerful like aftershocks, you know what I mean, from whatever like this Jupiter energy emphasizes or brings, that could have, again, some type of Pluto like profound transformative impact somehow that is playing on. Because remember, Pluto and Jupiter are really working together right now to bridge us into this new era of our lives and release us from the boxes that we've held ourselves in, essentially this Capricorn Saturnian energy. And so like as we move through this week and towards the weekend, there could be just some very like powerful implications as a result of maybe the things that we're awakening to, or over this next several months we could notice something like that. Also, another thing that we have going on this week, if you guys watched my 3 things to know about the energy this week video from my last one, we also have Mercury entering the sign of Scorpio on the 13th this week. So we know that things are about to orient themselves like on the deeper end of the spectrum as well. Things are going to go deep. We're going to be more focused on the depth, on the intensity. Again, this X-ray vision, penetrating insight, digging for truth, looking under the surface, like turning every stone, looking behind the curtain. That is where energy is gearing us really now, I would say this week and then moving forward. But for now, as we hit our midpoint this week, as we may be riding a little high on the Jupiter energy, we just need to, you know, trust God, trust the plan. We are learning to trust ourselves better. If you've made a mistake or you realize you've made a mistake about something, simply make a correction. The energy is supporting our ability to do that right now. And believe things are going where and how they need to go to get us where and how we need to be. And enjoy the show, you guys, to the best of your ability over this next couple months. Things are going to get wild. We are at the end of an era energy. We are at a major transition point, and there are going to be, you know, there's going to be a lot of newness, a lot of novelty, a lot of things that we can't really imagine or comprehend right now that we're going to find ourselves coming face to face with over this next couple of months. But it's ultimately going to be good. Okay, we want to be honest with ourselves. We want to be true to ourselves. We want to obey our conscience. Remember, Venus at that degree 21 Scorpio, obeying his conscience. A soldier resists orders. Expand your self-awareness. Seek guidance from within, adapt, be open-minded, be willing to change, collaborate, share, and connect with like-minded people. There's going to be a lot of value that comes through partnerships. There are a definite theme here with the Gemini energy, with the Libra energy, with the like Sabian symbol placement, the dancing couples at the Harvest Festival. Like, these are beneficial connections that are going to help us transition somehow. Jupiter stationing retrograde, you guys. It is bringing lessons, but these lessons are what will bring our blessings moving forward. Truth, wisdom, and experience that change our lives. Life-altering perspective shifts are likely to go on here, and we should try to celebrate the changes just as is being described in the degree placement of this station, the couples crowding the barn in the Harvest Festival. So we should celebrate the times to come. I want you all to feel lucky out there. And we're going to make it through it, and things are going to be great. They're going to be great. All right, let's talk about the tarot now for a second. The literal message on the tarot cards, I've actually like found myself reiterating several times in this report today, because we all know I can't just say something once and leave it there. I've got to say it over and over and over and over again in as many different ways and variations and synonyms as possible. But let's talk about this, you guys. Look at this. Look at how these cards are coming out. We have the Three of Swords in reverse and the Four of Cups. This is the unbothered energy that I was talking about earlier. Something about this Jupiter retrograde is helping us to heal, get over, and stop caring about the things in the past that we just like broke our heart so much that we couldn't get through. Look at what we've got on the back of the deck. We have the King of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Ten of Pentacles. So it's like something about rediscovering like our personal power, our true value, or like whatever maybe we're learning, whatever process of internal growth that we're going through over this period of time. I feel like it's re-inspiring us to like, or causing us to reconsider what it is that we really deserve. Okay. And that's another thing, you know, I could continue to go on and on and on about the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra and the like sense of like self-empowerment that is going to result from that transit. But as we've discussed, this Jupiter retrograde period is like putting the exclamation point on the end of that particular experience in transit, and the self-empowerment in alignment with like our personal creative self-expression and our ability to trust ourselves and to feel like self-fulfilling, you know what I mean? That is what I feel like is being described here, and it's going to happen quicker than we think right now. And this is the King also. This is that wisdom through experience. This is being in a place of power because we've earned it. You know what I mean? So a sense of earned self-empowerment that like puts us back on the throne in our own reality and like causes us to rediscover or to like reconsider what it is that we really want, what it is that we're really worthy of, what it is that we want to create, like what level of material abundance is a reflection of this new version of ourselves that is being empowered right now through this process of what? Through this process of healing and moving on from the heartbreaks of the past that we may have previously defined ourselves by, but that will not be like dictating or commanding the experience of our future moving forward. That's going to be much more self-directed as a result of what this period of time is doing and bringing into and doing for and bringing into our lives. Let's get one more card now, you guys. God, Spirit, Universe, we need one piece of advice, guidance. What should we keep in mind? What is like a good little mantra, or what is just some appropriate perspective for us as we move through this Jupiter station this week? And the card we got says, stop, don't argue. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. Don't fight or argue. Rest in the assurance God is working for you on this matter. Relax, let go, and know a divine solution takes place. Harmony will return. Behave now as if it is already before you. So, Jupiter station retrograde, right? Like this is a higher power, like at the helm of the ship or whatever, like at the wheel and driving things forward for us. And we don't need to, I guess like necessarily, we should rest assured that we don't need to protest or fight against or like whatever changes are happening right now, we need to surrender to them. And it's probably, if you find yourself in a dispute in some regard, it may just not be worth the fight. Things could be being cleared up on a higher level over the course of this period of time or over the course of this week. Don't engage in conflict this week, you guys, unnecessary conflict if you don't have to. And again, I've been talking about this collaborative energy that we have going on. So we are not engaging in conflict this week, you guys. We are engaging in productive and positive collaboration, and that is the message from the cards and the message from the stars. And I hope you guys liked it. And if you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. It really like helps me out when you guys do that. I very much appreciate it if you just like hit that little subscribe button right there, and then you will get to see my videos pop up every time that I post one. So yeah, there's that, and I would appreciate that. Thank you guys so much again for being here. Leave me comments also, you guys. I really value what you guys have to say. I really appreciate your perspective. You know, I appreciate knowing what is going on out there with you. If you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. Again, very valuable information. Thank you guys so much. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of those linked in my description box below. And come back with me on Friday, you guys. We will have a lot more big astrology to talk about because Pluto will station to go direct, and that is huge. That is huge. This is huge today with Jupiter being the planet of hugeness in its station, but when we add Pluto to it come this weekend, and then Mercury's also going to transit into Scorpio, more big astrology to talk about, you guys, and I will be here to talk about it. So you should be here too. You do not want to miss it, and I will see you next time. Have a beautiful, blessed, fortunate, lucky day, you guys, and until next time, bye.